Let's start with a truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. Being good is not enough. Not in this world. Not in the world Machiavelli dissected with surgical precision. And certainly not in the world you're trying to navigate right now. You've been raised with a beautiful lie, a comforting fantasy wrapped in warm language like kindness, virtue, honesty, doing the right thing. You've been taught that goodness is rewarded, that decency leads to recognition, that if you work hard, stay honest, treat people well, the universe will repay you. But tell me something. Has it? How many times have you done everything right and still ended up ignored? How many times have you helped someone who later pretended not to know you? How many times have you chosen honesty, and instead of earning respect, you earned nothing but more burdens, more expectations, more people ready to drain you dry? You know exactly what I'm talking about, because you felt it, you've lived it, and deep down you've sensed the truth. The world doesn't reward goodness, it rewards strategy. This is where Machiavelli enters. Not as a villain, not as the cold-hearted manipulator people accuse him of being, but as the first person brave enough to say what everyone else is too afraid to admit. He understood something most people deny their entire lives. Human nature is not inherently noble. It's self-interested. It's unpredictable. It's loyal until it's inconvenient. It's kind until kindness stops being useful. It's honest until honesty costs something. Machiavelli didn't invent the dark side of human behavior. He simply exposed it. And here's the part that should make you reevaluate everything you think you know. Your goodness makes you vulnerable, not because goodness is bad, but because you haven't learned to protect it. You think people behave the way you do. You think they follow the same rules. You think they feel the same moral obligations. But Machiavelli would laugh at that idea. He would tell you that the world is full of opportunists disguised as allies, full of predators who smile politely, full of people who study your softness like wolves studying a lamb. And without realizing it, you've made their job easy. You've been honest without caution, kind without boundaries, loyal without evaluation, open without filters. You've been good, but not strategic. And that is the difference between a respected person and an exploited one. Machiavelli warned leaders, rulers, and everyday individuals alike. Virtue without cunning becomes a liability. Goodness without calculation becomes weakness. Morality without self-preservation becomes a trap. Think about that for a moment. How many times has your kindness turned into an open door for someone else's advantage? How many times has your silence been interpreted as acceptance? How many times have your forgiveness been seen as stupidity? How many times have your patience been treated as permission? You see, the issue isn't your goodness. The issue is that you walk through life unarmed, believing everyone else is playing the same innocent game. But they're not. And Machiavelli would tell you exactly that. He would tell you that a good person without strategy is like a soldier without armor. And you've been walking into every battlefield exposed. But here's the shift. Machiavelli never told you to become a villain. He told you to stop being a victim. He didn't tell you to abandon your values. He told you to defend them intelligently. He didn't say, do harm. He said, don't let harm be done to you. This is the beginning of understanding the dark side of goodness, the part they never teach you. Because they want you obedient. They want you agreeable. They want you harmless. But harmless people aren't respected. Harmless people aren't valued. Harmless people aren't safe. This world rewards those who balance goodness with awareness, kindness with boundaries, morality with insight, and strategy with intelligence. And if you don't learn that balance, you will keep repeating the same painful cycle you're already tired of living. This is the first step. Understanding that goodness alone is not power. Goodness alone is not protection. Goodness alone is not survival. But goodness with strategy, that changes everything.
Machiavelli never condemned goodness. He condemned unguarded goodness, the kind that makes you predictable, exploitable, and easy to manipulate. He understood something essential. The world is not built to protect the gentle. It is built to test them. Look back at your life. Remember the times you were honest because you believed honesty was the right thing to do. Remember the times you forgave because you thought forgiveness would heal the situation. Remember the moments you extended compassion, patience, and understanding, expecting, hoping others would recognize your intentions. But how often did that actually happen? How many times did your honesty get you in trouble while someone else's lies elevated them? How many times did your forgiveness become an invitation for more abuse? How many times did your compassion turn into someone else's convenience? How many times did your patience morph into a permission slip for someone to keep disrespecting your time? You see, the problem isn't that you did good. The problem is that you didn't do it strategically. Machiavelli would tell you that kindness is a currency, and like any currency, it loses its value when spent carelessly. People do not respect what they can easily obtain. They respect what is guarded, what is rare, what demands effort, what requires merit to access. Think about it. Have you ever noticed that the people who treat you the worst are often the ones you've given the most to? And the people who treat you the best are sometimes the ones you've given the least. It's not a coincidence. It's human nature. Machiavelli simply ripped the mask off it. He taught that influence doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being understood as someone who cannot be taken advantage of. And here's where your goodness starts turning dark. Not because it becomes evil, but because it becomes fortified, protected, armored. This is the part where you start turning kindness into a calculated tool instead of a default reaction. Ask yourself, why do you give? Why do you help? Why do you sacrifice? Why do you stay silent? Why do you tolerate things you shouldn't? Is it because you genuinely want to, or because you believe that doing so will earn acceptance, validation, or peace? Machiavelli would tell you this harsh truth. If you do good just to be loved, you will end up enslaved by the expectations of others. If you do good strategically, you will end up respected. And that is the difference between someone who is admired and someone who is used. Let's go deeper. Machiavelli famously said it is safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But people misunderstand this line. He never suggested becoming cruel. He suggested becoming unavoidable, unignorable, unexploitable. Fear, in Machiavelli's sense, doesn't mean terror. It means boundary. It means strength. It means you are not someone others can walk over. You know what actually inspires fear in the healthy, powerful sense? Not violence, Not aggression, not cruelty, but self-respect, unshakable presence, a refusal to accept less than you deserve. Most people think you have to be harsh to be respected. But Machiavelli understood that the most formidable individuals are not cruel. They are clear. Clear in their limits. Clear in their expectations. Clear in what they will and will not allow. Your goodness can coexist with strength, but only if you choose for it to. You don't need to change your heart. You need to change your strategy. Because the world doesn't recognize kindness as power unless it comes with the ability to enforce consequences. That is the dark side of goodness, the part that refuses to be exploited, the part that doesn't fold under pressure, the part that stands tall even when it would be easier to kneel. Machiavelli would tell you, be good, but do not be naive. Be kind, but do not be blind. Be honest, but do not be predictable. Be generous, but do not be used. Goodness becomes powerful only when it is protected by strategy, awareness, and a willingness to walk away. This is what separates the admired from the forgotten, the respected from the ignored, the leader from the follower, the strategist from the victim. And now the question is simple. Are you ready to learn how to turn your goodness into strength instead of weakness?
Here is the part most people never understand. The part Machiavelli emphasized again and again. The part that separates those who rise from those who remain invisible. It's not enough to be good. You must look powerful. You must appear intentional. You must project value. Because in this world, perception is not secondary, it is the battlefield. Think about how many times you've seen this play out. An incompetent coworker climbs the ladder while the hardest worker stays stuck. A manipulative person becomes the leader of the group while the honest one fades into the background. A loud, confident fool gets more attention than a quiet, intelligent mind. Someone with half your discipline, half your heart, half your integrity ends up with twice your opportunities. Why? Because people don't reward the truth. They reward the perception of truth. They reward what appears dominant, stable, confident, and self-assured. Machiavelli saw this clearly centuries ago. He wrote that it is essential not just to possess good qualities, but to appear to possess them. Let that sink in. You can be intelligent, but if you don't project intelligence, you will be ignored. You can be loyal, but if you don't project strength, you will be underestimated. You can be kind, but if you don't project boundaries, you will be exploited. The world doesn't see who you are, it sees what you present. And for most of your life, you've presented harmlessness, softness, predictability, accessibility. You've walked into rooms hoping people would notice your sincerity. You've entered conversations hoping people would sense your good intentions. You've given your best work hoping it would speak for itself. But Machiavelli would ask, why should you hope for recognition instead of shaping it? Why leave your image in the hands of others? Why let the world guess your worth instead of showing it? Now understand this clearly. Projecting strength doesn't mean pretending to be someone you are not. It means revealing the parts of yourself that you've been hiding. Your confidence, your intuition, your intelligence, your independence.
You don't need to lie. You need to highlight. You need to shape. You need to present intentionally instead of assuming people will magically see your value. Look around you. Every powerful person, every influential figure, every leader you admire, they all understand the art of crafting perception. They don't show weakness to everyone. They don't overshare. They don't explain themselves unnecessarily. They don't display desperation. They don't broadcast insecurity. They choose what the world sees, not because they're deceptive, but because they're strategic. Machiavelli understood that power is not simply having the ability, it's having others believe you do.
Power is psychological. Power is visual. Power is expressed through posture, speech, presence, silence, timing, and confidence. Think about this. When someone unpredictable enters a room, people pay attention. When someone always composed speaks, people listen. When someone rarely gives their time becomes valuable. When someone sets boundaries without fear, others treat them differently. You've seen it. You've felt it. You respect the people who carry themselves with weight, even before you know anything about them. Why? Because perception shapes reality. And here's the painful truth. If you look weak, you will be treated as weak. If you look insecure, you will be underestimated. If you look desperate, you will be taken advantage of. If you look lost, you will be ignored. But if you appear confident, people will believe you are. If you appear disciplined, people will trust you. If you appear valuable, people will respect you. If you appear unshakable, people will think twice before crossing you. This is why Machiavelli insisted that the image you project matters as much as your actions, sometimes more. And here's the transformation you need to make. Stop assuming people will decipher your goodness. Stop assuming people will understand your worth. Stop assuming people will see your intentions. Start showing strength. Start projecting confidence. Start shaping your presence. Start controlling your narrative. Because the world does not interact with who you are. It interacts with who you appear to be. This isn't manipulation. This is self-preservation. This is intelligence. This is the strategic layer of goodness that you've never been taught. And once you master perception, once you learn to carry yourself with quiet authority, once you stop broadcasting weakness and start embodying power, you'll notice something remarkable. People treat you differently. People listen to you more. People approach you with caution instead of entitlement. People respect your time, your energy, your presence. This is the beginning of reclaiming control over how the world responds to you. If perception is the armor, then control of information is the sword. And Machiavelli understood this better than almost anyone in history. People like to believe that honesty means total transparency, revealing everything you think, feel, plan, desire, fear, or dream. But Machiavelli knew the truth. The more of yourself you reveal, the more predictable you become. And the more predictable you become, the easier you are to manipulate. Think back. How many times have you trusted the wrong person with the right information? How many times have you explained yourself to someone who didn't deserve the explanation? How many times have you opened your heart only for your vulnerability to become someone else's leverage? How many times have you apologized more than you needed to, revealed more than you should have, or shared plans that later worked against you? Every time you overshared, you handed someone a blueprint of your weaknesses. Every time you justified yourself, you lowered your perceived value. Every time you explained your intentions to someone who didn't deserve clarity, you gave them control over the narrative. Machiavelli would tell you, a person who reveals everything has no power. A person who reveals selectively controls the room.
Because here's the truth. People fear what they cannot read. They fear what they cannot predict. They fear what they cannot fully understand. Silence isn't emptiness. Silence is power. Strategic silence, measured speech, controlled expression. These are the tools of people who cannot be manipulated because their actions cannot be anticipated.
Let me ask you something. Have you noticed how the most powerful people you know often speak the least? They're not quick to explain themselves. They don't engage in unnecessary arguments. They don't rush to correct misunderstandings. They don't waste words proving their worth. Why? Because they understand that every word changes perception, and once spoken, it can't be taken back. Machiavelli taught that a leader must know how to hide his intentions, not out of deceit, but out of wisdom. When you reveal everything, you become vulnerable. When you reveal nothing, you become suspicious. But when you reveal just enough, you become powerful. This is the art of controlled transparency. Show people what keeps them at ease. Hide what keeps you strong. Here's the part that might make you uncomfortable, but will set you free. Your silence will intimidate people more than your words ever will. Why? Because silence forces others to fill in the blanks, and they will fill those blanks with their own projections, their own insecurities, their own doubts. When you talk too much, you give people certainty. When you talk strategically, you give people intrigue, and intrigue creates authority. But silence alone isn't enough. It must be combined with something equally important: unpredictability. People who always respond the same way, with kindness, patience, forgiveness, or compliance, become predictable. And predictable people are easily cornered, easily manipulated, easily controlled. Machiavelli understood that a leader who can be read like a simple map cannot command respect. But a leader who shifts when necessary, who adapts without losing their center, who surprises without losing their principles, that leader is untouchable. Look at your own life. You've conditioned people to expect certain reactions from you. They know you'll say yes. They know you'll forgive. They know you'll stay quiet. They know you'll tolerate things even when you hate them. They know you're predictable, and so they take advantage, not because they're evil, but because human nature takes the easiest path. Unpredictability is not about chaos. It's about control. It's about sending a clear message. You no longer get to assume how I will respond. Sometimes you speak. Sometimes you stay silent. Sometimes you accept. Sometimes you decline. Sometimes you are present. Sometimes you disappear. Not out of pettiness, but out of power. And as your unpredictability grows, so does the respect people give you. You become someone who cannot be spoken to carelessly. You become someone whose time cannot be wasted. You become someone whose boundaries cannot be crossed casually. That is the Machiavellian transformation, turning silence into a shield, information into currency, mystery into strength, and unpredictability into authority. These are the tools that protect goodness, that preserve your dignity, that prevent the world from carving you into something submissive. Because once people can no longer predict you, they can no longer use you. If perception shapes how people see you, and silence shapes what they know about you, then boundaries shape how they treat you. This is where your transformation becomes real, not in theory, not in mindset, but in the actual behavior other people will feel.
Here is a truth you might not want to admit, but must face if you want to become unshakable. You have been too accessible, too available, too accommodating, too forgiving, too present. And the world has been treating you accordingly. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must avoid being too easily reached, because familiarity breeds contempt and overexposure diminishes authority. Modern translation: when you are always there, people value your presence less. When you are always giving, people feel entitled to take. When you never pull back, people never move toward you. This is not because people are cruel. It's because human nature responds to scarcity, to boundaries, to behavioral contrast. You've probably noticed it yourself. The friend who answers your messages instantly is treated differently than the friend who answers selectively. The coworker who says yes to everything is respected less than the coworker who says no with confidence. The person who is always available is valued less than the one whose time feels earned. People don't chase what they can already hold. They chase what they feel they can lose.
Machiavelli understood this deeply. Distance creates respect. Boundary creates value. Scarcity creates desire. So let's talk about the most important shifts you must make if you want to be respected, not liked, not noticed, but respected. Number 1, stop explaining yourself. You've probably spent years justifying your decisions, clarifying your intentions, trying to make others understand you. But explanations invite debate. They lower your authority. They signal insecurity. Powerful people are brief, clear, decisive. Instead of, "Sorry, I can't tonight, but I'm really tired," say, "I'm unavailable tonight." That's it. Let silence do the rest. Number 2, withhold immediate access. Urgency is a gift, and you've been giving it to everyone. You respond too fast. You show up too fast. You adjust too fast. Every time you do this, you teach people that your time is cheap. Start responding on your own schedule, not instantly, not emotionally, not to prove anything. Availability is a currency. Spend it wisely. Number 3, make your no non-negotiable. Most people's no is actually a "please convince me." If someone senses hesitation, they push. If someone senses uncertainty, they test. A boundary is only real when it is enforced calmly, consistently, without justification. A firm "no, that won't work for me" will earn you more respect than a lifetime of polite compliance. Number 4, give less emotional reaction. There is nothing Machiavelli valued more than emotional control. When people can trigger you, they own you. When they cannot read you, they fear misstepping. When they cannot provoke you, they respect you. React less, reveal less. Protect your emotional energy the way a king protects his walls. Number 5, withdraw when disrespected. Here is one of the most powerful Machiavellian principles. Never stay where your value is not recognized. Don't argue for your worth. Don't beg for clarity. Don't chase someone who's pulling away. Don't remain in conversations where you're not respected. Your absence
will send a louder message than your presence ever could. Distance is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. Number 6, become comfortable being slightly out of reach. This is where the transformation becomes undeniable. When you stop over-explaining, when you stop being constantly available, when you stop giving emotional access to everyone, when you enforce boundaries without apology, you become someone who others approach with intention. You become someone whose presence carries weight. You become someone whose time is never taken for granted. You become someone others treat with caution and respect. Not because you demanded it, but because your behavior taught them how to treat you. This is the art of boundaries. This is the art of distance. This is the art of value. And this is where your life begins to shift, because respect is not earned through kindness. It is earned through standards. Up to now, everything you've learned has been about reclaiming control. Your presence, your perception, your boundaries, your silence. These make you stronger. They make you respected. They make you unmanipulatable. But here's the part that truly matters. Power means nothing if you lose yourself in the process. This is where people misunderstand Machiavelli completely. They imagine cruelty, ruthlessness, cold calculation. But Machiavelli never said you should be heartless. He said you should be effective. And effectiveness doesn't require cruelty. It requires clarity.
So let's talk about something deeper. How to rise in strength without becoming bitter, hardened, or corrupted. Because the world doesn't need another wounded person pretending to be powerful. It needs someone who can lead themselves. Someone who can be both strong and principled, strategic and kind, assertive and humane. This is the art of ethical power. 1. Strength doesn't require harshness. You don't need to be rude to enforce boundaries. You don't need to be cruel to be respected. You don't need to be aggressive to be taken seriously. Machiavelli advised rulers to appear stern when necessary, not to humiliate, not to dominate, but to establish order and stability. Your strength should feel like this: calm, grounded, measured, unshakable. Not loud, not hostile, not combative. The most respected people are the ones who don't need to raise their voice to command a room. 2. Compassion without self-sacrifice. Your kindness has been used against you before, because your kindness had no shield. You gave generously without discernment. You forgave without limits. You stayed loyal to those who were careless with you. But true compassion is not sacrificing yourself. True compassion is measured, selective, given to people who have earned access to that part of you. Machiavelli would say, do good when you can, but never at the cost of your own stability. Your empathy must have borders. Your kindness must have context. You can still be warm, but not to those who bring coldness. You can still be generous, but not to those who drain without gratitude. You can still be supportive, but not to those who drain you. This is how goodness survives in a world that tries to exploit it. 3. Power means responsibility. When you become stronger, people will react differently to you. Some will respect you. Some will fear you. Some will test you. Some will admire you. Some will try to pull you back into who you used to be. And because you hold more weight, your words, your silence, your presence, will hit harder than you expect. So you must use your power with intention. A careless word from a strong person can crush someone. A withdrawal of attention can wound deeply. A boundary can feel like rejection to someone who's unstable. A moment of detachment can feel like abandonment to someone wounded. This doesn't mean you must shrink. It means you must be conscious, because the goal isn't to dominate, it's to grow. 4. Don't seek revenge, seek distance. Machiavelli understood the dangers of emotional retaliation. Revenge consumes time, energy, and sanity. It binds you to the very people who hurt you. A powerful person doesn't seek revenge. A powerful person seeks distance. Let people feel the consequences of losing access to you. Let absence do the talking. Let life deliver the lessons. Your silence will always punish more than your retaliation.
5. Lead yourself first. Machiavelli believed that greatness begins internally. Before you influence others, you must master your temper, your impulses, your fears, your desires, your insecurities, your reactions. Because the person who controls themselves controls the entire room. You cannot be manipulated if you know your vulnerabilities. You cannot be intimidated if you accept your flaws. You cannot be dominated if you understand your own value. Self-mastery is the highest form of power, because it cannot be taken away. 6. Keep your heart, but guard it. Here is the paradox you must embrace. You can be gentle without being exploited. You can be loving without being dependent. You can be open without being unprotected. You can be good without being naive. This is the true Machiavellian insight. Stay kind, stay moral, stay human. Just don't stay defenseless. Because goodness without strength gets devoured. But goodness with strength, that changes everything. You become rare, you become magnetic, you become respected, you become unforgettable. People begin to sense that you are different, soft-hearted but iron-backed, compassionate but not compliant, loving but not foolish, giving but not drained, present but not owned. This is the version of you the world has never seen. The version Machiavelli would say has the power to rise, the power to protect yourself, the power to shape your life consciously. Here is the truth everything has been leading toward. Power is not something you show. Power is something you become. Not loud, not forceful, not cruel. Just centered, clear, self-directed, unmoved by noise, unafraid of loss, unbothered by judgment, unreachable by manipulation. The moment you stop needing approval, you become undeniable. The moment you stop explaining, you become respected. The moment you stop chasing, you become valued. The moment you stop fearing distance, you gain control. The moment you stop abandoning yourself, you become untouchable. And the world feels it. Your presence changes. Your energy shifts. Your boundaries sharpen. Your silence deepens. Your decisions strengthen. Your perception transforms. You are no longer someone who is shaped by the world. You are someone who shapes your world. And here is the final lesson. You do not need to be feared to be powerful. You do not need to be cold to be respected. You do not need to be ruthless to be untouchable. All you need is this:
a steady mind, a guarded heart, a controlled tongue, a defined boundary, and a life lived with intention. This is how you rise. Quietly, calmly, powerfully, without losing the very goodness that makes you rare. Because the strongest version of you is not the one who hardens, but the one who finally stops bending.